back to our broadcast of the 100th Annual Handsgiving Day Parade, a celebration of all things puppet and puppet kind, sponsored by the Macy's Glove and Stocking Department.
You can see our next balloon coming down the road now. This one is brought to us by the Manhattan Marionette Guild. Isn't that just lovely?
Oh, I can see that they leaned a little interpretive this year.
Yes, and oddly topical.
Coming up next is a submission from the Pipe Cleaner Commission. Would you just look at that detail?
You know, the Pipe Cleaner Commission accepts donations from kindergarten classes all across the U.S. to help build its floats. As you can see, they definitely went all out this year.
Well, Tom, it's a special year for the Handsgiving Day Parade. 100 years ago today, the Sock Puppet Club of Boston held a rally to promote puppet rights and form a union for all manually articulated entertainers.
Because here's the thing, Joan. Puppets from all over the country really get the short end of the string, don't you think?
Well,
The Academy has always praised the puppeteers. Well, you tell me this, puppeteers. How would you like to perform 8 shows a week with an arm up your rear end? Puppets deserve better. Puppets deserve recognition!
yes, Tom. Oh, look what's coming down the road now!
And one other thing!
Oh, thank you so much for joining us. Coming up next is the 2020 Purina Championship Pet Rock Show. But first, it's Real Brief!
It's the Maltz Jupiter Theater's Real Brief! Featuring the cast of Disney Beauty and the Beast, A Spiked and Hot Drinking with Jay, Giving Thanks with Dana Munson, a DIY puppet project, and this month's Did You Know? And now, your host, Andrew Cato!
Hi everyone, thank you so much for your amazing comments on our first Real Brief. This month we give thanks for all our collective blessings as well as welcoming in the fall season by celebrating family and friends through the lens of puppets. But first, let's take a quick look at the progress we've made on the build out. November has been a successful month for the build-out, with the enabling phase picking up steam. On the business end of the project, we have officially signed our contract with Kaufman Lynn, who is our construction manager. We've also finalized our electrical and interior design plans, while important permits are being approved and inspections are being ordered. All of this preparing us for demolition. Driving by the theater, you'll see that the construction fence has been installed around the property's perimeter as equipment and supplies are being delivered daily. If you were to step into the building, you would hardly recognize it. Our construction team have set up their temporary workspaces in our lobby, utilizing our existing space instead of bringing in their trailers. The true hub of the activity has been in the theater seating area. Seats have been removed and safely stored to make room for the essential piece of this big puzzle, a temporary wall that will protect our interior space once the back half of the building is demolished. Demolishing and rebuilding portions of the building while preserving the rest presents unique challenges, but our architects and engineers have painstakingly planned every detail of our construction plan to make a smooth renovation. Interior walls and the stage plenum have been properly shored and waterproofed, and scaffolding has been built. The temporary wall is near completion, and we are on track to officially begin demolition before Thanksgiving. December will bring out huge changes to the west and north side of the building. Soon you'll be able to log onto our website and check in for yourself on the daily progress. Grab a pen because you're going to want to jot down this simple drink recipe to warm your belly at your Thanksgiving gathering. Here's our very own box office manager, Jay Johnson, with a spiked cider treat.
Hi everybody, and happy autumn. This next drink takes me back to my college days. Growing up in the Midwest, at a college football game when the temperatures began to drop, we needed something in the stands to keep us warm. It's a very simple drink to make that only involves 3 ingredients: apple cider, cinnamon schnapps, and cinnamon sticks. We'd actually mix this up in our dorm room, stick it in our boda, and then under our jacket, so nobody knew we were carrying alcohol into the football game. So the first thing you want to do is you want to heat up your apple cider. Warm it up in a pan on the stove, in the microwave, but get it almost to a boil. So just when your apple cider begins to boil, that's when you want to add your cinnamon schnapps. There's no measurements for the cinnamon schnapps, it's just to taste. And in my case, I like the taste of a lot. So just pour it in. Give it a nice stir while it heats up. And then wait for it to begin to boil again. That way the cinnamon schnapps gets heated along with the apple cider. So when you're getting ready to serve it in a heat-resistant cup. This thick glass Libby coffee mug does a trick. And then just add a garnish of cinnamon stick. You can smell fall already. Enjoy. To get directions to make this drink, go to jupitertheater.org/cocktail_recipe.
Welcome to the 2021-22 grand reopening season at the Maltz Jupiter Theater. We have a brand new lineup of shows. An Agatha Christie whodunit. An American tycoon lies dead in his compartment with a locomotive full of suspects and an alibi for each one. It's the perfect mystery. Murder on the Orient Express. After that, a hapless romantic searches for true love in the Big Apple. Sweet Charity, featuring unforgettable classics like If My Friends Could See Me Now, Big Spender, and There's Gotta Be Something Better Than This. Then join us for this much-anticipated Tony and Grammy award-winning musical about the struggles and triumphs of making it big. Don't miss this hit Broadway musical so big, we can't tell you what it is yet. Followed by the hilarious comedy I Hate Hamlet. A legendary actor returns as a ghost to advise a rising star in the ways of stagecraft, sword fighting, and making love in this larger-than-life play. Ending the season with two charismatic con men who compete to swindle $50,000 from a naive heiress in the beautiful French Riviera. This Tony Award-nominated comedy will have you laughing and singing. Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. For more information on this exciting season, visit jupitertheater.org.
Hi, and welcome to Did You Know? I'm Christina Renasco, the Maltz Jupiter Theater's Development Events and Special Projects Manager. Did you know that break a leg is a typical English idiom used in theater to wish a performer good luck? Where did this saying originate? Were broken bones a bigger problem in the olden days of theater?
To be or not to be, that is the question.
The common belief is that it's reverse psychology. Wishing a performer good luck would actually be bad luck. So, to prevent a jinx, you would need to wish bodily harm on your favorite actor or musician to ensure that their performance is a success. Seems logical. Various folk theories propose that Elizabethan or even ancient Greek theater audience would stomp their feet or bang their chair legs to applaud performances. So, the hope was that a performance is so moving that the audience breaks their legs, or chair legs. In a less gruesome theory, the term break a leg may refer to a performer bowing or curtsying to the audience in a sense of bending one's legs to do so. Another theory involves the leg line, the edge of a stage just beyond the vantage point of an audience, concealed by a type of curtain called a leg. In the days of vaudeville, crossing the leg line meant that you were getting the chance to perform, and more importantly, that meant you were going to get paid. The better you perform, the more often you would get to break the leg line. Therefore, break a leg may be a more direct sentiment of hope for a good performance and good fortune. We appreciate our patrons and donors, and we thank you for playing an essential role in bringing live theater to our community and ensuring that actors get the opportunity to break their legs on our stage. Please consider joining our circle of friends today. Exciting benefits await you when you become a member.
Disney Beauty and the Beast hit Broadway in 1994 with a splashy stage version of the Academy Award-winning animated feature by Alan Menken and the late Howard Ashman, with additional songs and lyrics by Tim Rice. Its 13-year run with performances in 37 countries worldwide made it a popular favorite for family audiences. It was nominated for 9 Tony Awards, including Best Musical. The original Broadway production transformed human characters into their inanimate object counterparts with stunning costumes by Anne Hould Ward, who received the Tony Award for her work. When the Maltz Jupiter Theater had the opportunity to produce the production 2 seasons ago, we chose to reimagine it using puppet versions of the characters before they became human again. Let's take a look. And who else would you engage to create the vision for this world but Tony-nominated actor-director John Tartaglia, with choreography by Broadway legend Shannon Lewis in collaboration with New York's premier puppet creator Eric Wright and the Puppet Kitchen. Add to that the phenomenal lead actors Danielle Bowen and Zach Nadolski, as well as the quadruple threat performances of our actor, singer, dancer puppeteers, represented today by Brendan Malafronte, who brought Lumiere to life. Please welcome the creative team of the Maltz Jupiter Theater's Disney Beauty and the Beast. Hello, everybody.
Yay!
Hi!
Hi.
Before we begin, I would love a quick update on what you've been doing since you've been navigating COVID-19. John?
Well, I've been very, very lucky. Of course, all of our theater work went away, but luckily I've been working on a TV series. I've been working on the reboot of Fraggle Rock for Apple TV, which has been a dream come true for me. So I've been very blessed to be very busy.
And Shannon, you're in New York still, right?
That's right. I'm still in New York City, and we've been here for a good 7 or 8 months, and it's been great, actually. New York is an amazing place to be. It's still pulsating with its own special energy, and it's all good here. Beautiful. Go to the park, have a picnic. Of course, Broadway shut down, which means like the real heart of the theater community here is really, we're all really sad and we really miss it. I've been continuing to sort of develop a bunch of projects that I've been working on, use the time to develop with creative teams and on Zoom and all kinds of things like that. But really missing my theater family.
Yeah, indeed. I think we all are. Eric, you're in New York also. What have you been up to?
That's right. Yeah, I had been cast in the off-Broadway production of Little Shop of Horrors as one of the Audrey 2 puppeteers. Oh, wow. And so we're on pause there, and I'm really missing all of my theatrical family as well. But fortunately, Puppet Kitchen is staying active. I'm designing and building puppets for productions all over. I'm creating a new short film for Heather Henson's Handmade Puppet Dreams film series that will be finished in December.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah.
Danielle.
Yes, yeah.
How are
Doing well. I've been studying for the GRE to get into graduate school. I'm applying for master's programs for elementary education. Yeah.
That's spectacular.
Yeah,
Yeah, it'll be really, really fun. It's something I've always wanted to pursue alongside with theater, and I figure now is just a great time to pursue that.
And how long will that process take? Is it a 2-year program?
It is a 2-year program, yeah. So hopefully I'll start in January, and I'll be able in 2022 hopefully to graduate. And I'm still hoping to do theater alongside it. So hopefully I can strike a balance.
That's fantastic news. Zach, what are you up to?
Well, when the shutdown first started, I did a lot of baking. And probably a little too much baking. All the cookies, I ate all the cookies.
Right.
And now I'm just trying to spend a lot of time, finding ways to be creative. Just keeping my skills and my physical health well until we can come back to doing what we love.
Indeed. And I saw on Facebook someone got married. Brandon, tell us about it. That's such great news.
I did. It's been at this point a week, still going strong. And actually, we're staying at her parents' house. We left the city. We're up in Syracuse. At first, it was because we were in a show. It closed after the governor's order. We thought, we'll be here for 4 weeks. 4 weeks turned into 6 months. And the second we got here, she reached out to these newspapers and things, and we started this little kids show. And through that, we paired with a nonprofit called the Reading League that's up here that is teaching kids how to read, and also the local PBS. So we just got a 20-episode pilot season of our own little kids show, which is fantastic.
Yay!
Oh, that's amazing. It sounds like everyone is making great use of this time, I gotta say. It's really amazing. So let's just jump in with my first question. Everyone is used to the Broadway version of this production. John, Shannon, and Eric, what was the process like re-envisioning this musical?
Well, it was really, first of all, it was such a phenomenal opportunity, so thank you for giving it to us, because I think it's something, when I was so lucky to be part of the original production. I was like Lumiere number 78 on Broadway. and there were a couple of times, and I loved it, by the way. It was my favorite experience I've ever had on Broadway. But there were definitely a couple of times where I was like, I wonder if this would be easier if they were puppets, because they're in the movie, especially, they're all kind of puppet size, they're real life size. So it was always in the back of my brain. And then when you called and said, do you want to do this? That's why I was so excited. I was like, absolutely. And I knew Shannon and I worked together so many times doing puppetry-based projects, and she has such an incredible understanding of movement and how to translate dance into puppetry. And Eric's puppets are so incredibly gorgeous, and they move so beautifully, and he understands what theater needs as opposed to just TV or film. So I think the three of us just kind of immediately put our brains together of like, okay, what could be a puppet? What could still be, utilized using the human body? How do we translate this, and how do we do it in a way that makes it still the Beauty and the Beast that everybody loves and still accessible, but feels fresh and new? And these two geniuses made it happen. They used their brains to make it happen.
I love it. Shannon, you have a shorthand with John because you are technically the choreographer, but you guys work in a very special way, and you've been working for a long time together. What's that process like for you?
Well, it says a lot about John that he's willing to sort of really, surround himself with amazing people. Like all of John's creative teams that he assembles are like, everybody we kind of all sort of have an understanding of everything. You kind of have to, I think. And I'll just speak for myself that, John has always been so generous with me in terms of like, we share ideas, and I can come to him and say, what do you think? I had this crazy idea, and he does the same with me. So what's great about it is there's sort of this nice meshing of the movement and the direction and the storytelling, and same with Eric as well in this production. I don't think you really could separate it. I always say that I think the best productions are when you watch the show and you can't tell what the choreographer did or what the director did or what the what the actor brought up. I think it's all supposed to be all rolled together and just an experience. So I think that we did that on this show, and we did it in a really fast time period, really quick rehearsal period. So so it really was all hands on deck, and just exploring the wonderful creations that Eric made as well, and seeing what they could do, and then following John's lead and our amazing actors, sort of going, hey, what about this feels kind of good? And so it really is like, it's great I was remembering back to the show and how proud I was of what we came up with, and that it just sort of grew, it kept growing and growing and being more and more creative as we went along.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the puppets in a little bit, but first let's move over to Danielle and Zach. In moments where the characters were inanimate objects, what was it like interacting with both the puppet character simultaneously with the actor who was manipulating them?
It was a tough thing to remember, honestly. It was the first time I'd ever interacted with puppets on stage, and so I kept wanting to stare at the human, like Brendan. I was like, I want to see the light behind your eyes, and I want to connect with you. But then it was more about seeing the puppet and hearing the inflections from the actor and getting some of that inflection. So that was really what kind of helped me to remember. It's all about like the inflection that they're speaking and the physical actions that they're doing with the puppet, and all of our puppeteers were so well versed in it. It was pretty easy after like week 1 to really like stare at the puppets and interact with them.
How about for you, Zach?
It was so much fun. I think we were just so blessed with incredible puppeteer actors in this show, to where I would say most of the interaction I had was with Lumiere, with Brendan, who played Lumiere, and Paul, who played Cogsworth. And I think their puppeteering and their vocal inflection really made it easy to remember to look at the candlestick. Don't look at the eyes of the puppeteer. And honestly, to heap praise upon people, just that puppet, particularly Lumiere, was so expressive, and in the hands of Brendan was so expressive that it was really. It wasn't too far a leap to just be able to look, because he would just do a little tilt and it would like convey all of this emotion.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I was so impressed with Brandon. While we're talking about you, Brandon, what were some of the challenges that come with being both a puppet character and a human character simultaneously? So kind of the same question in reverse.
Well, we had a puppeteer in heels, which that was different for me. No, it was, in a way, it's kind of takes all that pressure off of the actor when you have a puppet, because nobody's really, after a while, they stop looking at you and they start looking at the puppet. So you can do no wrong. It's this thing that is like, if they hate the performance, it's that thing's fault. But it's also, acting is always so fun because you get to keep coming up with these bits and these memorable moments on stage for yourself, but add a toy in there and it's 10 times more fun. The whole rehearsal process was like, what can this new toy do? And it was figuring out that like I can throw the light from his hands to his head, and like I can have him slide on the banisters. You can do so many fun things when you can like literally, if you're the puppet, Lumiere can fly around this stage. You can't really do that as a person.
Yeah, and I loved watching you during rehearsal because I watched how you drilled over and over again the movement until it was so flawless. John and Shannon, you were both together on the sea when most of the pre-production was being done. What was the big aha moment that happened in your process?
I mean, I think a lot of it was when we realized the doors that kind of open in doing it with puppetry, because when you're a person, when you're a 5 foot to 6 foot person, you're accounting for a lot of space. You're accounting for a lot of logistics. Like Brendan was just saying, you're gravity based. So everything tends to be very kind of, just the way things are usually staged, right? We're kind of these creatures based on a ground, and then there's this massive space on top of us that we try to fill with sets and visuals. And all of a sudden, when you're puppetry, all that goes out the door. So in Be Our Guest, we could do plates doing, a Chicago style fan around, Lumiere, and you don't have to figure out how to get the people up high. It's like, oh, we just put our arms up in the air, or you can do silks flying across the stage that look like flames. It's just all of a sudden all the logistics go away. And so what's funny is, in a way, it was always a big gamble, right, to translate an animated film like Beauty and the Beast to the stage in 1994 when it opened on Broadway. That was the big thing. It's like, how are they going to do an animated film on stage? in a way, this was so much more like the animated film, because like in the animated film, there's no rules, there's no gravity, there's no reality that you have to follow in this magical world. So I think when we discovered that, I remember a couple times when we were doing pre-pro on the cruise ship we were working on, we're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I remember coming to John and saying, okay, so there's this big famous tango between Lumiere and Babette, right, in the middle of Be Our Guest. And I was like, okay, so it's always the actors doing a tango. I was like, what if the puppets did the tango? And we did it. We did it. I mean, we were like, how would that happen? Could they do it? Like, could they be on serving carts? Would the serving carts need to roll? Like, what would it be? And we need to find actors that actually know how to do a tango and then also know how to puppeteer, so their puppets can be doing a tango. And we kind of, and it was a little bit of that was a really big moment where I was like, hey, maybe for myself for the movement in the show, taking it to that next level of, actually having the puppets doing some dancing, really just themselves. And so that was kind of, I think, a fun thing to explore.
It was so good.
I was going to say really quickly that I think that also that was such a part of the casting process too, was finding performers. And we had actors in the show who had never actually puppeteered before, who learned very quickly the basics of puppetry. But they were hired because they were willing to play. Like you were mentioning about Brendan taking his own personal time during rehearsals, drilling how Lumiere would pass the light. You can't teach someone how to do that. And it's you don't have time in a 2-week rehearsal process, which is insanely quick for any show, but especially a reimagining of a show. You don't have time to hold someone's hand and teach them how to do that. You've got to find people who are like, let's jump in the pool and let's play. So we were so lucky to have a group of performers who were so incredibly talented as singers and actors and dancers, and were willing to throw their hats in the ring as puppeteers as well.
Well, speaking of that ensemble, let's take a look at the song that everyone knows, Be Our Guest. This is your version and the very end of Be Our Guest. Let's take a look. So much fun. Oh my gosh. I used to run into the theater just to see that finale of Be Our Guest. It was great. And there were so many great staging moments in the show. The song Gaston is such a memorable moment in the Beauty and the Beast production as well, but yet John and Shannon found a fresh way to give it new life. Let's take a look at that as well.
In all of my decorating.
Susan Egan, who played Belle on Broadway, tells a story on Playbill.com about a performance where Terry Mann accidentally rips her wig off. She isn't the only person who can tell that story. Danielle and Zach, what happened at that matinee? Can you please tell us?
Zach, do you want to go for it?
I can't wait to hear. Tell me everything.
Oh, right, because you were out of town by then, huh?
No, I was there. I don't know when. I remember.
It happened during a matinee. It was at the very end of Act 1 when Belle is leaving the castle. She's running away, and the beast grabs her and is supposed to rip part of her dress. And unfortunately, it was still early in the process, so we were trying to figure out exactly how to, pin my wig in, with Zach's claws, what they were going to be like. And one day, he accidentally got one of the fingernails of his claws caught in my wig and just yanked it off. And I think I proceeded to grab my head and just run off stage.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And then also just burst into laughter, immediately.
Yeah,
when I exited
from the audience.
Yes. Yeah, but then the best part was that Zach had to sing a song after that.
Probably the best acting I've ever done. In that it was most truthful, because when your wig came off, I had a very moment of,
yes,
God.
you did.
And honestly, that's sort of what the Beast is supposed to be doing from the perspective of, I was so angry I ripped your dress, So maybe that was just super truthful that day.
I thought she should be the rest of the show in a wig cap.
Sort of, the heart starts racing, and you just keep going. The show must go on.
I have to tell you, I will never forget it.
Mostly in the moment, I was just like, I hope it didn't hurt her. My first thought was, how close was that wig pin to her? I hope I didn't do anything to her neck, The guilt was...
I tell that story nonstop. I love telling this
so
story.
Happy that you were
it's just one of those things that's just, it's live theater and it's the best just because those things can happen and you can, you just laugh it off because,
And the audience is always on your side after that. They're always on your side after that when something like that happens, because it's like you feel like you have this communal, we all get to experience something that wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And then she did a really good job after that of, we sort of just further choreographed that moment going forward in the show. She did a really good sweep of her hair to the side to make sure that her sleeve was clear.
That was some great hair acting.
She made it not obvious, but it was fun.
Yeah.
Zach, you had a process of becoming the Beast that involved prosthetics, a dedicated makeup person, and a wig person. Let's take a look at that process. Zach, how long did that process actually take?
The full process from start to finish, the very first time, was around 45 minutes to an hour, I believe. But once just what an incredible team I had, but once the makeup artist was able to just do most of the makeup on the 3 prosthetics before they were glued to my face, that really cut down the time. I mean, it was like 20 minutes to maybe a half hour if things weren't going perfectly. Because most of it, again, was painted on the 3 prosthetics before it had to be glued onto me. So it was just really about like touching up the edges and just doing everything in order.
Yeah, you looked amazing every night too. I just loved the work that was done and how you embodied the beast. Is quite spectacular. All right, everyone, it's time to bring out your puppets. Bring them out. Let me see what you got here.
Okay, my puppet's asleep. I'm gonna do this instead.
Well, you gotta wake it up.
I'm gonna do my beer stein guy.
Come on.
Oh, I love them. Oh, you've got Rod.
Oh,
That's amazing.
you win.
Oh my
All
gosh,
right,
you
bringing out the
do
big
win.
guns. All right, fair enough, Mr. Fancy Puppeteer, man.
We get it.
Wow.
We get it. It's funny. So John, Brandon, and Eric, can you each give us a very quick tip about how to bring an inanimate object to life? Just a little trick up your sleeve. Anything?
Take it, Eric.
Yeah. So I think the number one thing to do is to make sure your puppet at all times that you know where your puppet's focus is. And you know what your puppet is looking at, and that you make specific, bold, clear choices, just like in acting, about where your puppet's focus is. If it's a camera puppet, it's supposed to be looking right at the camera, then do it.
I love it. How about Brandon?
Nice. So you know that when you see kids playing with like their action figures or their dolls, like do that, because that's you have to be able to play. You know, you have to take it seriously enough that you like really believe in that G.I. Joe walking across is like you're fighting that guy, or like just play. You really just have to play.
Wonderful. And John, any tips for us?
I have absolutely no idea. No, I'm kidding. It's really about imitating how humans move. When you're puppeteering, you're basically imitating life, and so all those little things that make us look like we're alive as humans, you try to bring it to a puppet. Little tilt of the head, like if you notice, everyone's kind of doing like the listening nod, right? They're oh, it's like the Oprah reaction. Oh,
I love it. Well, thank you, John, Shannon, Eric, Danielle, Zach, and Brandon for being with us today. I wish you all a joyful Thanksgiving. And to end, John, can you have Rod sign us off?
Oh, yes. You've been watching the fabulous Maltz Theater, what is this, live stream? I don't even know what you call it, Andrew. What do you call this thing?
It's called Real Brief.
Okay, Real Brief. You've been watching Real Brief. I'm Rod. These are the most fabulous people you could ever work with in the entire world. Support live theater. We'll be back. Buy the mug. Try the veal.
Love you guys.
Love you, Andrew.
Yeah, bye.
Take care.
Andrew. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Coming up next is a special Thanksgiving message about family and how theater people create their own special bonds together. Here's our Director of Marketing, Dana Munson.
Thanksgiving holds a special place in our hearts. Parades, football, eating as much pie as you possibly can. But more importantly, Thanksgiving is a time for friends and family to come together and to show our gratitude for all the blessings we receive. This holiday season, we here at the Maltz Jupiter Theater wish to express our gratitude to you, our devoted patrons, donors, visiting artists, and all of those who make our mission possible. For you are all a part of our extended Maltz Jupiter Theater family. Without you, the exceptional productions you see on our stage season after season wouldn't be possible. While holiday celebrations might look differently than in years past, it is even more important for all of us to find new ways to stay in touch and show our appreciation. At the end of this edition of Real Brief, before the credits, we are going to run the list of names of those of you who have supported our Stand By Us campaign so far. But it's not too late to be included. If you make a contribution to the Maltz Jupiter Theater for over $100, you will be included on a permanent naming wall in our lobby when the theater reopens in October of 2021. Stand By Us donors will also receive an invitation to take a tour of the new theater and see the transformation before anyone else does. Another way to become a part of the Maltz Jupiter Theater family is to bring a group of friends to one of our 2021-22 season productions. Group packages are great for birthdays, family gatherings, and employee appreciation events. And groups receive big discounts off of single ticket prices. Although we are dark right now, we are looking forward to the day when we can all come back together as one big happy theater family. Until then, please know that we are working to keep the magic of theater alive and will be back better than ever next year. As we close out this edition of Real Brief, we invite you to take a look into the genius work of Eric Wright and the Puppet Kitchen in this month's installment of It's Showtime.
Hey everyone, this is Eric Wright with the Puppet Kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how you can make a puppet out of ordinary materials you have lying around your house. So pull up a chair, let's get started. All right, you're just going to need a couple of simple materials to get going. The first thing you'll need is a stick, like a pencil or a dowel, a piece of fabric, like a bandana, a paper plate, a squishy foam ball, like this playground ball, a nice pair of scissors, and some tape. Now, we don't have a lot of time, so I had to speed up this video, but if you want to check out the full version, you can just check out our YouTube channel. I'm going to start by cutting up the paper plate to make some arms and the shoulder plate, which is what's going to hold up the fabric. I'm going to take that shoulder plate and sort of curl it into a cone shape, and then use some of the tape to hold it together. Then I'm going to point the ends of the arms, and on this piece of paper, I'm going to draw an outline of a hand. I'll cut those out with the scissors. Now we are going to need a couple more embellishments for this project, like a pom-pom and some little brads and things like that. But you can use whatever you want. If you have fake fur lying around, or if you have some fun foam, you can use that to decorate your puppet any way you want. This is just one way to start. Here I'm folding the fingers on the hands in half. Gives it a nice three-dimensional quality. So I'll do that to the other hand. And then I'll attach the arms to the shoulders with little pieces of tape. And I'll attach the hands to the wrists with 2 more pieces of tape. Now it's time to lay out our fabric. Now you like to lay out the bandana in a sort of triangle position, and then you kind of drape it onto the shoulder plate so that it falls straight down and allows for room inside the puppet for your hand to go. I'm just safety pinning it here, but you could sew it together if you're handy with a needle and thread. Now everything is going to hang off of the control rod with just a little piece of tape, and now it's onto the head. I'm going to find where the nose goes first, because everything kind of goes off of that. And just with 2 snips, I'll make room for the eyes, and then use those scraps in 2 more holes in the sides of the head to make the ears. 2 more little snips to make a mouth. And now I'll take 2 brads, color the tops with Sharpies, and use those as my eyes. And there you go. It's a puppet. All right. Check it out. We made a puppet. How easy was that? Well, I hope you had a good time. Hope you learned something. I hope this inspired you to make something of your own. If you want to learn more about puppetry, you can visit us at puppetkitchen.com. You can follow us on Instagram and YouTube. We have a live YouTube show where we interview puppeteers from all over the world about what they do. You can even order a puppet to come visit your Zoom calls. So check us out. My name is Eric Wright. This is the Puppet Kitchen. Thanks for joining me.
As we say goodbye, we would like to let you know that all of our Real Brief segments will be on our website at jupitertheater.org. If you wish to see the October installment, you can log on there. We also ask that you share Real Brief with your friends and family so that they can get to know what's happening at the Maltz Jupiter Theater while we do our build-out. Finally, before the credits roll, please see all the donors who have contributed to the Stand By Us campaign. It's pretty impressive. As always, thank you for being with us, and happy Thanksgiving. Gobble until you wobble. Goodbye.